minutes of the July 20th, August 8th, and August 9th meetings.
Oh, don't get talking about sheriff's department. He's talking to the sheriff's department. With a complaint about us.
No letter. Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, got a motion by Tony to approve minutes from the 3 meetings. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second by Al. Any additions, corrections, or questions on minutes? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll say no. Motion carries, minutes approved. And, on to discussion possible motion, culvert purchase for timber sales, wood roads from Wheel and Park Development Fund.
You're up, Jared.
Ooh, just in time.
Culverts, is that over there?
Yeah,
Yep.
come on up here, we can hear you.
So I guess on some of our timber sales, the county decided that we would supply a culvert for the logger to install stream crossings or whatever. Some places they're needed. And then that road is good to go, potentially be opened up to ATVs in the future. You know, if it fits the specs for that type of use after the timber sale. I brought this to forestry yesterday and they thought that an internal purchase through highway department, which is where we typically get our culverts, might not need the committee approvals like a regular purchase. I don't know if that's true or not, but.
Like they were thinking that property, right?
Say that again.
They were thinking that not property approval wouldn't be needed? Is that what your understanding was?
Yeah, I guess, any committee.
Did you normally, department normally just did that?
No, we always get approval because it's over, if they're over that $1,500 threshold for
How much money you talking?
committee approvals.
How much are you looking for?
Well, I need a couple that are like $2,500 each and
How much?
2,500 roughly. And a couple are like 1,600.
Total?
What's the total cost of all of the culverts?
I don't have a total cost figured out. I think, what it came up with was 9,000 to 10,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
After I added some things up yesterday.
Okay, so it's money that's in the budget, it's just that you wanna go.
Yeah, so the budget I'm hoping to use is the trail and parks development money that is in a special account. This committee is the oversight committee. Forestry did not approve that. They said to talk to Ashley about these purchases. How I thought it would.
Yeah, so our recommendation was that it still needs to come to the finance committee because you wanna purchase it out of this budget, which is oversight of the finance, and then.
Is that, we haven't always purchased it out of that budget, correct?
That's
I think, we were talking about also maybe keeping it out of the budget it normally comes out of.
yeah. Which would be the loan money budget?
Timber sale expense,
Maybe that. Probably the loan money.
which is timber sale expense.
So it would be convenient though if he was able to, rather than, you know, the logger needs the culvert to, go through, you know, all these committees to get them a culvert, it would be convenient if, you know, he could get something pre-approved ahead of time, you know, as time comes. I don't know if there's a way to do that through property, or if he has to just purchase some ahead of time from the highway and say they're storing it for him.
Yeah, that is possible, and Tony, he can always call Tony in between property meetings and get Tony's approval to move forward with a purchase that's over the 1,500. But I think the reason it needs to come here is to determine the funding source of whether it should come out of the, timber sale expense, which was previously the loan money that we would borrow that, what do they call the severance tax for or if it should come out of this budget here that is over, that you, there's money put into it. Tell me.
Five to, I don't know, a few years back, this money you're asking about.
Yeah,
This is the notorious 75,000 that was the yearly input for trail and park development.
Well, I think that 75,000 originally was for land purchase, wasn't it?
Land purchase?
it's a different,
That's a separate account.
Separate?
That's separate. That's a land acquisition account, and that's still there, it's separate. So 1% of timber sale revenue goes to that.
So this for trail and park development.
and up in this corner here, it says culverts, gravel improvements.
You have anything else that you're taking out of that this year?
This year, doubtful.
So that's a good spot for it to come out of.
I don't know. It could come out of that, and other stuff too.
This was specifically earmarked for that. I don't know. Somebody else got another idea?
No, and I guess that some of the idea too is that if the trails are, they might be able to be reused for ATVs or something down the road too, so I guess it would be developing it.
I mean, we need a spot for that if we're gonna keep developing trails, do we not? I mean, I would think this would be, unless it's grant funded, the type of project that's grant funded, which I'm assuming that goes somewhere else. So if we need excess money, besides what's grant funded, it's gonna have to, is there another budget to put it in other than this one for
You're saying
trails?
that, well, this is for timber sales, so we could use the timber sale expense, which is that money that we used to get the loan, we borrow, what, is it
About 40,000?
43,000.
We borrow that money from the state and then pay it back with timber sales.
But we were trying to get away from that.
Right, so there's still a fund balance in there, and then we're going to move that budgeted money into the forestry budget going forward, but
Well, you can still move it.
Balance there, why don't we just,
for which one? Cause there's a fund balance here and there's a fund balance there, in the
how
timber
much,
sales.
what's fund balance in that,
Forestry.
And that one, I'm glad we just buy them out of that one too. I really don't care.
Yeah.
The thing is it's a timing thing, so when we'll get a phone call tomorrow that says, I wanna put this road in next week, and I need that culvert, and it's like, well, I gotta go through a month and a half of committees to get approval for that. So I was just hoping to get some on hand, that we could store, have it.
are you saying that these trails, these roads would become ATV trails eventually or not?
Well, potentially.
They have drainage though, and there's more, if they have good drainage, there's more potential that they can.
Well, if they're logging road, they almost have to have good drainage, so you don't chew up road up too. Otherwise, they're gonna be, there's a heck of a mud roads, you can't have that either.
Otherwise, if they're not used for, if there's not the potential of a trail, they have to, when they're done logging, do they have to take those culverts out? I mean, if the logger puts them in for some reason, is that how that works in some of these?
In some of them, yes, they're removed, but when the county has purchased them, they're never removed. The other thing to keep in mind is that, I don't know, there's been some talk about improvements in the parks, like electric, water at Audi Lake. Maybe we're better off leaving this alone for a project like that next year and using that timber sale account for the culverts.
You're saying take it out of the 20 and leave this alone?
Potentially.
Take it out of this one, the state aid for the timber sale expense, but not loan money that we previously had. Which, I mean, I think that's the better option, because we actually have expenses budgeted in this budget for 2023, and we didn't have anything budgeted in 2023 in the, trail and park development fund. So then we're not really, I mean, we still have the fund balance in there, so it's not like we're going to use levy, but it wouldn't require a budget amendment.
That works. There's not a rush on these culverts this week, so if I can go back to forestry and request out of that budget next month, and then go from there on the culverts.
It Say it again, you think it should come out of this one?
Yeah. Because we had 44,542 budgeted for expense this year, we've only got 8,672.44 in there so far, and you know what, I think I might have seen some paint come through recently, but, so that could've gone up, you guys recently purchased some paint.
Yeah, and
There's still room in
Yeah,
this
and our-
budget for this year.
so, at the end of the story, even if we're buying internally from highway, I do need approval from forestry and property if it's over 1,500, is that correct?
Yeah, but you could call Tony and you could call Phil Schneider
Sure. To expedite it.
to expedite it a little bit.
And then make sure it's on the next regularly scheduled
Or
agenda.
you, if for some reason you couldn't get an answer, you could put, vice chair, correct? I believe so. Do you want a motion in
Well,
there?
I can usually.
Well, I think we need a motion to have it come out of,
I'm not sure within a few.
I mean, I guess technically forestry oversees this budget, so we wouldn't need a motion for it to come out of this, but if it's gonna come out of the, timber sale expense, then we don't really need a motion.
Okay, so are we looking at, we got state aid forestry, there's no, are we looking at parks and trails, or are we looking at state aid forestry?
State aid forestry, so then you guys wouldn't need to make a motion to have it come out of here, you just would
So
need
then
to.
what's the plan with the 20,000 in the other one? You're gonna leave that there for trail
So-
development later?
Yeah, so we didn't, I mean, this 20,000 is just what he put in there to spend for 12 months, but there really wasn't anything budgeted for 2023 here, so then we talked about, last week, possibly using that for the campground development.
This
For
one,
electrical
okay,
upgrade.
okay. I thought
Right.
it was the other one.
Well, I think we were looking at utilizing both, right, some of the park development and,
Yes,
because there's, a balance here in the park development fund, which is overseen by the forestry committee. And then we also have the trail and park development fund, which is overseen by the finance committee, that has a balance as well. So between the two of those combined, we could do considerable amount of work on the campgrounds.
yeah, electric upgrades, which is probably the most common request is better electric at our camp.
Yeah, we wouldn't be
Perch
able,
Lake is great. Every site has its own power, 50, 30, 20 amp. The rest of our campgrounds have shared power between sites and lower amperage and whatever.
if we use this money for culverts, we can't use timber sale money to pay for the
Correct.
campground stuff, so I think that's why we're probably better off using that timber sale expense for those culverts.
Yeah, that works for me.
So, are you asking for Tony for approval to purchase some of those?
No.
right away? Okay,
No.
I'll just call him and,
Yeah, I'm not rushing. I don't need a culvert that I know of right now. So I'll just bring it to forestry next month and we'll go from there in a regular fashion, for now, unless I get a call today.
And pull it out of the other one with the 43,000 balance, okay.
I think that takes care of that agenda item.
Okay, so the next thing we've got is to approve 3 forestry employees and 1 county board member to attend the Fall Wisconsin County Forest Association meeting in Hayward. We need a motion to approve that.
What's the estimated cost on that?
Is that a motion, Jim?
What's the estimated cost?
Oh.
Do we know?
I don't know.
Is it in your budget already?
Yeah.
And the only reason it's coming here is because in the financial procedures manual, it says that, you know, any out-of-county travel request needs to go to your oversight committee, but if you're sending more than one person to the same training, it needs to get approved by the finance committee as well, as to, you know, as to why you're sending more than one person, so that's the only reason why it's here. And Jared also has another one.
Yep, another one. Me and Mike were planning to go August 30th and 31st to Weston for the statewide snowmobile funding meeting and ATV funding meeting.
An estimated cost on that one? I don't know how we can prove it without an estimated cost.
I don't have an estimated cost.
Am I wrong?
Stay within the,
Usually they come through with an estimated cost on it.
Do Did you guys fill out like the out of county travel request form at all for your
I've
committees?
never seen one of those.
Oh, they're on the Z drive in the finance committee folder, I can email it to you too. Would you be able to do that and bring it back to us yet this morning? Does that
Yeah, I can do that.
work for you guys?
That's fine with me, if it's fine with you.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll just swing back then when I have cost estimate.
Okay, yeah, I will email that to you right now.
I'll get an idea.
Okay, the next thing we have is the approval of the IT fiber project and funding source. That's what you're here.
Bugs was working late last night, but he was gonna try to make it here at 9 o'clock, but, I think Jamie and Bugs have been talking about this, fiber project, trying to find the funding source.
Yeah, I don't have the cost, do you have the cost on it?
I don't, I thought it was like 30,000, if I remember right? I can call, I'll call him real quick. Is that all right? Can I call him real quick?
Yeah, you go.
So,
Can you give us a little background here?
yeah.
Jamie, do you know?
So this is part of that server request that was ARPA, the 232,000 something. And the costs have gone up. Jim wanted to upgrade the fiber in this building as part of that project. And so he was looking for a funding source to be able to finish those fiber upgrades.
We're talking about the.
And I had told him that you guys didn't really want any more ARPA requests right now, but that, I mean, he could certainly bring it. We do have that LACAF funding as well that could be used, but, the LACAF is similar to ARPA, except there's no timeline on it like there is with ARPA. So he's just asking for more funding.
Jamie and I were also hoping we could use the LACAF money for our, comprehensive plan.
Your what?
The comprehensive plan.
Randy had presented on that, what, about a year ago, that our comprehensive plan is very out of date and needs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Actually, the state
That's
just
actually
emailed
really
me, I
interesting.
talked to, they emailed, John Fitzel that we are we're out of compliance and we have to get it done.
You there, Bugs?
We're not the only one.
Yeah, it's like half, I think it's half the state.
Yeah.
How much was the, fiber extra money?
42.
42. And that basically that needs to be done, it ties into the server project, so it kind of goes hand in hand, correct?
Yes.
Do you guys wanna know anything more?
What does it entail, new fiber coming in from outside?
Sure. Actually, it's fiber internally. So what it is instead of using cat cabling, it'll use fiber instead. And so what that does is we're currently a 1G network or 1 gig internally. And what this will do is this will take us up to 10 gig. So we'll have 10 times the bandwidth internally. So with the addition of all of the IP cameras, anything that we may do in the future, anything like that, this will give us a very strong backbone to transfer that data without overloading our network at all. And so what it does is it runs from down in the server room up to each one of our switch closets, and then so we've got that connectivity between each and every one of them. So instead of just the 1 gig, we've got the 10. It kind of, I can't say future proofs us, but it's gonna be, I think, quite a long time before we ever need to look at that idea again. 10 gig is phenomenal for us.
So, yeah, I think what he's looking for is for approval for the additional costs and the funding source for it,
And the additional cost is
$42,000.
additional.
Where did the original servers come from?
ARPA. So my recommendation would be to add it to ARPA, because we have a timeline with ARPA.
How
much is left in ARPA funds?
So,
There's enough to
what,
cover.
yeah, there's enough, there was, we have 1,105,198.38 remaining from what was allocated, but, there have been some projects that have been completed that have been under budget. So, the actual available balance, is, $1,129,630.58.
So you're talking about the additional 42,000 coming out of ARPA?
Yes.
And this project would be done, it's on track right now, pretty good. It'd be done for sure by the, or it should be done for sure by the end of the year, correct, Bugs?
Oh, yeah, this, if it would get approved today, and we could get Al to sign the contract today, I've already talked to the company, they could be here, schedule less than 2 weeks, it'll take about a week for them to do this. We're looking at being done, with the majority of the whole big server project, mid-September.
Do we have the correct bids to qualify for ARPA funds?
We have 3 different companies that bid it out. One company gave us several different, bids, different options, different things like that. But yeah, we've got the 3.
Did this go through property too, or not yet?
Yeah,
Yes,
property
it went
forward.
through property. They approved it to go up, to the finance committee, you guys here. And then to, go where we need to go from there.
We approved the original from the county board, but now a $42,000 addition is substantial, and so
Yeah, I don't think we'd be in a position for Alan to sign the contract today.
we
because
have to
it would
go through the board.
Right, it would have to go as a resolution to the board.
That's the ground rules we set, I think we should stick, that's the ground rules we set before, I think we should stick to it. I agree with that. I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the 42,000 through ARPA and send to county board.
Motion by Jim to approve 42 through ARPA, is there a second? Second by Tony, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, motion carries. Okay, the fiber project, I sometimes miss a lot, the fiber is coming in, we got fiber now, or any fiber here?
Did you hear that, Bugs?
It was broken up a little bit. I believe Randy's asking, if we have any fiber coming into the building now.
Correct.
Yes, we do. We've got fiber from, Charter Spectrum, and that's what we use for our internet connectivity right now. We're currently running at, 1 gig symmetrical, as far as internet connectivity.
So this new stuff would be 10 gig, basically 10 times the strength and correct?
It would be, but the fiber we're talking about today is, exclusively internal. What it is any of the computers that we have on our network, when they communicate to the switches in each one of the closets, and then down to the servers and everything like that, we're talking internally, we'll be at a 10 gig, connection. Once the fiber hits the switches themselves, it feeds, between, 48 to 70 different devices. Each one of those has a 1 gig connection. So instead of everything sharing 1 gig, they can share up to 10 gig instead. If that makes sense to everyone.
That's Greek, but.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll,
Forward to full county board. We're just gonna forward this to the full county board.
that.
I'll put together a resolution that you guys can sign when we get done to the ARPA resolutions.
Okay.
Did you hear that, Bugs? It's gonna get forwarded to county board.
Okay, okay, that'll work.
You want
Then
to,
I'm gonna stop down there just a minute anyway.
you can, okay. You'll be here in a second then?
Yeah, a couple minutes, I'll stop down and finish this real quick and then I'll be done.
Okay.
Alright, bye.
Okay, I think, let's see, Gary's got something else on your, item number 7 is a resolution designation of continuing appropriations for IT equipment. What was a resolution?
Yes, and you know what, I need to print that resolution yet too, sorry, I forgot to print that one in a color format, so. You guys have a black and white, I just gotta print a formal one for you guys to sign, so I can bring that back later if that's okay, I mean, you can approve it.
Keep their balance running year to year.
Yeah, so this is what we talked about last week in their budgets, that, you know, IT has projects and stuff that are, you know, one year they have to spend $250,000 to upgrade all the servers, and then those servers are good for 5 to 7 years, or however long servers last for. But, you know, coming up with $250,000 in 1 year is a huge hit to the levy, so, we proposed, you know, kind of budgeting, and I didn't put an exact dollar amount in here, but what I had put in their budget was budget about $50,000 a year for capital projects, and then having a non-lapsing continuing appropriations account to carry forward that balance, so that when they do need to make those purchases, they can have those expenses in that year, but it's not a $250,000 hit, or however much the project ends up being to the levy. It'll, you know, run down that fund balance, and I put in here that anything that would come out of that balance would have to be approved by property committee, because it is for capital projects, and so anything that's over 1,500 would have to go to property anyway. So.
That makes it easier to budget, all of a sudden you're gonna look the big bill on.
Right, and
What's going on here, we don't have money.
I don't think that, you know, IT security is something that we wanna mess around with, especially since that day last week, well, you guys saw it, we couldn't do anything without our server operating, so it's kind of important that we have working computer systems and,
Was that issue.
So we would need a motion then to establish a revolving.
Some sort of action.
yes, and yep, and there's a resolution in your packet, I'll print one for you guys to sign officially, but, that's what I'm looking for here, and I've almost got the other one ready to print for the fiber project too, so.
It's allowing carry forward funds to go from one year to the next. You don't, you went away from that,
Well, we did,
because, you know, it's just like almost like a slush fund from year to year. You know, with IT that's what bottles open. You know, situation as far as purchasing equipment or.
If it's used in a wisely manner, not.
Well, it's not a slush fund, it's supposed to be, you know.
Yeah, I know.
At the same time, the resolution does say that it has to go through property any purchases, so I mean, if somebody's using it for a slush fund, they have to get approval, so.
Oh, you know what,
I mean, if somebody's signing off on that.
I think I have the wrong account number in here too, I think I need to update that.
So I see your school of thought on that, but the other school of thought is, we get those big things and I get all riled up because there's this big purchase and we don't have a funding source and we gotta find something. But if we can budget ahead of time, you know, save up for a couple of years to get
Right.
to the next thing. I don't know, I guess there's.
is there, a limit, so, you know, it's not likely we're gonna get too much in there, but.
Well, and that's something that you guys can review in the budget process each year too. Because, and I, you know what, I have the wrong account number on here, it's actually supposed to be 810, which is the, you know, the equipment purchases over 5,000, something that we would capitalize, or would be, you know, depending, you know, we don't always capitalize things if they're over 5,000, depending on what they're for, but,
So you're, sorry to cut you off, but you're saying if you put the 810 in here, then this fund can only be used for equipment purchases over 5,000?
correct. And it would require approval of the property committee prior to that purchase. The way I kinda have the spreadsheet set up is that, you know, the fund balance builds based on what's budgeted for that 810 line. So right now, there's $50,000 in here, and I've got it pulled up on the screen here, there's $50,000 proposed in the budget here. And then, this fund balance here we'll take what's budgeted minus what's actually used and carry that forward just for that line. So nothing else of this IT budget carries forward, it's only that line.
Okay, we would need a motion to establish this, continuing appropriation then.
And this doesn't actually have the amount we're putting in there that every year, like you
Right.
said, in the budget process.
Right, because, you know, they might say like, hey, you know, in 2025, we want to, you know, do this $150,000 project, but we've only got $50,000 in that account right there. So that's why we're requesting $100,000 on that line, so that we have enough between them. I didn't wanna kinda commit us, or if it's,
I'll make a motion. Motion by Phil, with the, second? Second by Tony. Any more discussion? Any other questions?
Is this first paragraph here gonna cover the way it's worded, is it going to cover such things as, what we just discussed, fiber? I mean, it's saying such as servers and computers, is that leaving us?
I think
Why
so,
not?
and I think that would be to the discretion of the property committee to,
Then I'm good with it, as long as we're, don't have to revisit it again.
What was that dollar amount?
so there is no dollar amount in here, so I'm sorry, I should have sent you a copy of this, so it reads, whereas the information technology department has varying amounts of equipment replacements each year, since items such as servers and computers are replaced every 3 to 10 years, and whereas some IT projects lapse over multiple fiscal years due to employee workloads, availability of contractors, and availability of supplies slash equipment needed for the projects, and whereas the finance committee would like to keep the annual IT levy amount consistent from year to year, even when project costs are not consistent within those years. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the balance of the unused levy appropriated for IT equipment, and the account number I have in there is that cap. I've changed it to the capital account. Be carried forward from year to year in a non-lapsing account to be utilized for projects as deemed necessary by the Rusk County Property Committee beginning with fiscal year 2024.
So if there's money left over, it'll stay.
But only from that line.
We're not asking for like we're gonna ask for like $50,000 or whatever extra.
That's what's in the budget, that's in the budget
Okay,
request.
so it's in
But
there,
yeah,
yeah.
I
Okay,
did,
okay.
this resolution should stand for however long until another resolution is written. But it might not be $50,000 a year that's budgeted for that, so and sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be less depending on the projects, and we have no way of predicting what the costs are going to be going forward.
Would there be a dollar figure that, how would you say this?
That it caps out at?
Yeah,
I think that you guys could determine that during the budget process of how much you wanna allocate on that line.
Cause if there's a big.
Cause we're not committed to allocating.
If there's a big, balance in there, we don't have to allocate anything.
that's what I was wondering.
Cap it or something.
What?
Most a lot of these IT projects you're talking in the $150,000 range. So just pick somewhere in there around that as a cap and.
Well, the servers last time were 230, plus we just did the 42.
You're talking, large sums, we're not talking, petty amounts.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, how much would it be? Are you gonna do things over 20,000, 50,000, if you're gonna get out of that money that's set there?
It would be over 5,000, but as approved by the property committee,
I don't know.
because that line is, the 810 line is for equipment purchases over $5,000.
Yeah, cause that's what I was thinking, they can't just come in and pull 1 or 2 laptops out of here.
No.
Yeah.
It's meant for,
But hey, if they're replacing laptops for, cause all of our laptops were purchased at the same time with COVID dollars. So at some point in time, they might need to purchase 50
Yeah.
laptops.
But that would go, but again, that would go through property.
Right.
Because it'd be a big enough purchase that,
Right.
it's not like you'd sneak it out of there, a
Right.
couple dollars here, a couple dollars here.
I think they ought to cap, I think you should probably cap the, total availability, if you wanna call it funds. I mean, you say you just stick 50,000 in here a year or whatever, at some point in time, you you might not feel like you have to add money to a particular budget year. So put a cap on what the total availability is.
You think that'll ever happen, Tony? I don't.
I don't either, but you know, should have some, let's say theoretically, you could accumulate 500,000. You know,
Okay.
some discussion.
Okay.
I think you ought to get upper limit on accumulation, if you wanna call it that.
Yeah. Probably not a lot of danger.
No, probably not.
I think you're right.
I would say in probably 5 years from now, you probably have to put another $250,000 plus into a kind of upgrading what we have again.
I don't know if we have to just fill this fund up right away, because, you know, you do have other sources of funding, there's general fund and there's equipment fund, and so, you know, in an emergency, you know, we can
Deal with it.
deal with it, so.
But I just thought, the reason I'm kind of pushing this is because, back when we had those capital projects requests, we utilized that to pay for the offsite, backups for the computers, so that was money that we used for something that's really considered operating costs, you know, we should be backed up all the time, not just when we have extra money sitting around to be able to pay for it. And same thing goes with a lot of these ARPA requests, you know, server replacement is a routine thing, that's something that, you know, thank God we have the ARPA money to pay for this, but that's a one-time thing, we don't foresee ever getting ARPA money again, so we need to have a plan for the future of how we're going to continue doing these replacements in the future.
Like budgeting for the future.
So otherwise, you know, it's going to come down to, you know, 5 years from now, IT's gonna need $250,000, $300,000 to pay for a project, and then we're gonna be trying to find that in the budget, and that's not something we can bond for, we can't borrow for that kind of money like we can for road projects when we have those one time.
It's either gotta go here, or we gotta keep in mind every year it's gotta go in contingency. Choices.
And then I do know that there's some up in dispatch right now, there's like the duress systems and, some of the other, just, I don't know, it's an SSI box or whatever, but, I know that stuff is all like severely out of date, where it needs to be upgraded to, I don't think it's a price tag of $250,000 or anything like that, but I'd have venture to guess it's somewhere around $50,000 to $100,000, you know?
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor to establish a non-lapsing IT fund. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries, so. I think that takes care of your stuff, Gary.
You want me for the Neil and?
Yeah,
Walt-
kind of,
Walt?
yeah.
Yep.
That was Steve and, travel there, with Gary and I both.
Oh, which one is that?
Six.
Number five?
Five.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, out of state multiple attendee requests for elections programming visit.
So, I kinda talked to Gary and Neil, and Walter wants to go as well, so Neil and Walter and Jill and I would like to go, so there's 2 from IT and 2 from my department. We just go for the day, that's it, we're gonna go and come back. And I think it's, all I have it is for $65 for us and $65 for them, that's just meals, that's it.
They're talking about, roughly $130 total.
Is that host?
What is that?
Say, oh, Indian County. So,
What?
Indian County. Yes,
Where is it?
it's right here. I didn't know I had to put in for mileage for county vehicles.
Well, it's still a cost that gets charged to your budget.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. there's something decent there, right, Gary? To make the St. Cloud, can I?
Yeah. Something.
Gary, no, Gary, come on. So what was your question?
We said, where's that?
St. Cloud, Minnesota, but I'm not sure yet, so if I gotta do mileage on one of our vehicles, then it's a little different story, so, but
And
yeah,
it'll be 2 vehicles, or you guys start going,
one.
Gary's gonna be the bus driver?
I'm not going.
Walt?
It'll probably be me being the bus driver,
You better send it.
hired Joe, yeah.
Better have it.
One vehicle, that's 160 miles away, so probably 320 miles times.
Well, it just depends if I gotta, I mean, do I have to take my vehicle, Gary?
I think you'll be fine with one of the Explorers, probably.
She's trying to give me a car.
The one out at the airport needs some carbon burned out of it, don't
You'll fit there, Donnie.
You would not be a very good poker player.
I would say just take an Explorer.
Should I just take my vehicle?
Okay, I need a motion to approve the out-of-state, corrections programming.
So we have to have a dollar amount in there
For mileage?
for mileage.
Would you say 320?
Well, I figured, I mean, add it, so I just did sorry. From
That's
here,
probably just the post office to post office, but.
right, I just went from here, but it's 160 miles one way to St. Cloud.
It's gonna be whatever it is, so you don't really need a number in there, if they're 10 miles over, what are we gonna do? You can't.
Well, what's the difference in mileage rating?
Car fund.
What's the difference, when you're figuring out one of these forms, if you use your personal vehicle or the county, what's the difference?
I only get 0.25,
25 cents versus
25 cents.
Well, you can always approve it for the 65 and a half, and if you take your personal vehicle, that's just less.
Right.
So my suggestion is approve it for taking a county vehicle, and if you choose to take your own, you're saving the county money.
Yeah, it was costing
You're
you.
still going back to the county car fund.
Well, then that's her choice. But if we approve it for the higher rate at a county vehicle, she takes it, well, county saves $100.
I'll make the motion, let it go.
I'll second.
330 times.
Yeah, what's the dollar amount? Do you need for
330
the?
times 65 and a half. 1615.
216.15 for 330 miles round trip.
So do you split it between the departments? Is that what you were thinking?
Less than $500.
Well, it's all for your department though.
I don't think we ever figured the mileage on them.
No, I always put it on there, cause it's a cost, I mean, if you have
Sometimes,
it,
they've been on lately, I know.
if you don't have it in your budget, if you don't have the mileage in your budget for your,
Put the mileage under IT budget.
Because we're billing each department for those miles now for vehicles.
I know,
That's
but
where
they'll-
she's going with that.
They'll turn in a voucher when they get done, and then that'll,
Right.
you know, the actual mileage, cause it could vary. you know,
I'm thinking
but-
Command Central's just gonna feed us.
And then it was 65 per person for the event, covering meals.
Yes,
Meals are covered. Or your lunch is covered.
I'm sure they're gonna.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, on the motion, on the state travel, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, number 6, approve 6 jailer dispatchers to attend classification training in Wausau in September.
Okay, so this is, classification issues are why we keep getting in trouble with the DOC. And so, you know, we may build a new jail, we may not. Either way, this is gonna continue to be a problem. So George and Jeff would like to send 6 of their jailers to this training. It's just a one-day thing, $200 a person.
How much?
The jail budget,
Okay.
they have a training line.
How are they gonna send 6 of them at once?
They'll take 2 squads. Or
Who's gonna watch the?
Who's gonna watch the
Who's
jail?
gonna watch the playhouse while the teachers are gone?
Who's gonna be in the chicken house? Keeping the fox away.
I think,
Jeff
Tony,
and George.
I signed you and me up to do that. No, George is going to.
Oh,
You and me that day.
So Jeff and Phil are gonna work the shift while they're gone.
There you go, yeah.
Ooh, why?
That's
So Jeff and Phil have to watch while all 6 jailers are gone to the training.
I heard something about Phil, I didn't know you're.
No,
I wanna make sure you're talking about the right Phil for that one.
Mr. Grassman.
Okay, so it's like $1,200 then for the 6 jailers to go, so.
Yes.
So has there been issues where the jailers don't know where to put them and we've been classified wrong and maybe that's,
Yes.
so after this, I might wanna hold off for a year and see how we're doing on just classifying people there. Maybe that's what we're trying.
Well, it's a space issue. It really is.
If we're gonna do mileage, does theirs have mileage figured in, or don't we need to on theirs with this, using a spot?
Yeah, the mileage would be charged to the sheriff's office.
Come on, here, budget.
Yeah, that's why I've always included it, is cause it is the budget.
So we need to add mileage to that one too, which would roughly, I'm gonna say, probably be 95 miles each way from here, Wausau. You can round it up to 100,
240, and 200.
know where it's at in Wausau.
Yeah, lots of what, 100 miles from our place.
And probably lunch for all 6 as well.
80 miles.
So they don't have a form filled out either?
No one fills out forms except
I've been there, but
me, Jamie.
Alright, from now on, they don't start coming with forms, they don't get approved.
Nobody knows about this.
I'm not voting for them unless they
Never
start
been a
coming
training
with
on it.
forms filled out.
Okay, I'll send out an
Actually,
email.
the jail has never
112 miles.
permission to travel anywhere.
No, usually they don't. They usually just run these through their committee.
Well, and the reason it's coming here again is because there's multiple people going. A lot of times they're not going to trainings and sending multiple people at the same time. Plus, none of us were really aware of that requirement until recently. I didn't even know about it. But they'll send jailers to training, but it's one jailer going to training and then another new person hired and going to a different training.
Sounds like you need to send out a memo.
And we did bring
We
it up.
talked about it at department head.
Yeah,
meeting.
Jared's got it.
I have an idea, maybe you should just put the onus on the oversight committee and save your guys one time.
Well, we have to change our financial procedures manual then. Cause this is coming, here.
Just an idea.
Not a bad idea, but
You guys want me to do that? I can do that.
We could bring it up. I'm sure there's probably a reason it's on there so that, everybody doesn't use it to take vacation or something too. I don't know. I'm guessing there's a reason it's put in there. Maybe not. They have issues in the past.
safety valve.
What's that?
Safety valve, in case the committee just approves whatever and not paying attention, so let's do the committee.
Well, as long as I can remember, this conference that Jared's asking for has been approved.
Yeah, I'm not, we're still on the sheriff one.
We just said the procedure may not have been followed before, but we know about the procedure. We don't follow it.
followed before.
Right, so,
Nobody knew about it.
so, but we know there's a procedure, so we wanna follow properly, and then the discussion would be whether that's, or if there's a reason for that procedure or not, and then make a decision on whether
It
that's.
should be followed until it's changed.
Yeah, for the last however many years, nobody's done it, and everybody just doesn't even know it's there.
And that's legal and new, so, I mean, because it wasn't followed before, we know about it, so, yeah, I agree with you, we should follow it. So there'd be roughly 200 miles added onto that 1,200, at 65 and a half, so whatever that comes to, and then
I think it's 112 though.
To Wausau?
from here it is.
I think that's what my, just told me. It was 2.25. Round trip.
Just take the public quarters.
Yeah, 110 miles.
You getting taken to the state patrol headquarters or?
On my way to Green Bay.
I wonder if I was late when I go to meetings the last time, I was figuring it out. We just put them up 10 minutes late.
You just wanted to know the way in case you got in trouble.
So about, they're 288.
These are the opportunity for mileage. Jared, you got the cost of these.
But I would think turn meals would be included in that.
Well, we'll finish up on the 6 jailers.
So, if you came to like 200, what did you say that number
Like
again?
$288 for mileage.
Oh, we don't have a form for that one yet.
No, well, I have all the information. I can fill out the form right now if you want me
If you
to.
fill out a form, yeah.
Oh, no, Jared.
I swear I only touched it.
Oh, let's do
This is why we
Mrs.
can't
Chair.
have nice
We'll get
things.
Gary on it later.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Okay, we still have motion on the floor, everything's a tree down, you want to saw everything apart.
Wait, you need a second yet? You need a second?
No, I haven't, I think I got it.
Made a motion in a second.
Okay.
Phil and Tony, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. That motion carries. Okay, we have one for Jared, to the, Wisconsin County Sports Association fall meeting, I'm not sure where it's at. Weston, Hayward.
That one's in Hayward.
Got a total of $804.30, and the other one at Weston is $415.50. A motion is in order to approve those, holiday travels.
I'll second.
Al?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, second by Phil. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Good to go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chair.
Sign those, I guess. Okay, let's see here, approve personnel proposed 2024 general employee wage increase.
Okay,
That was,
so if this is in your packet, personnel forwarded it to you guys, for, the proposal for 2024.
What's the fiscal impact? This is a two-step is what you're
Yes,
requesting here?
yep, so it's in here, about 200,000.
And what would
okay,
be-
now is that in addition to the wage increase that was in effect this year?
Right, this is the fiscal impact for 2024, if employees move up 2 steps for 2024.
Okay, cause we were looking at 500,000,
That was the implementation of the original
so this
implementation.
will be in addition to that.
Yes, yes, yes,
What would be the impact of a one step, would that be about 100,000?
yes.
I would, recommend we do one step. 100,000. Right, and the 200,000.
Okay, I've got a motion by Phil to do the
Do a one step.
one step, is that in the resolution or what?
No, that is not, so I think that the motion would probably be to forward back to personnel and recommend a one step.
Or to amend the resolution, whatever Phil wants.
I would amend it, and ask you guys feel
But
circumventing
sign the
personnel.
resolution.
I mean, that's up to you guys. I could do amend, or we could send it back to personnel, whatever. I don't wanna, you to think I'm circumventing personnel either.
Well, anyone can amend the resolution, but, I mean, Jim and Alan, you sit on personnel, do you want it to come back to you?
I voted against this in person.
Okay, Alan?
I don't know, I really don't know what to.
Okay, let's send it back to personnel for further discussion then.
We're gonna be prolonging this again, or
I'll review.
So then would I take it off the county board agenda? I'm actually in there right now adding another.
We'll have time.
Or we can make an adjustment to it, send it back to personnel for final approval, I don't care, but I think, I don't know how you wanna do it.
That way it wouldn't have to come back if we changed it to one step, and then went back to personnel, won't have to come back here again.
Just so forward back to personnel recommending one step increase, and if personnel agrees, then forward directly to county board.
Because I've got a motion on the floor from Phil, but there's no second, so.
I'll second the one step.
And your motion, the motion is to do the one step rather than both.
Yeah, do a one step increase instead of.
that motion then, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries.
Are you saying to approve that increase and send it back to personnel, is that what you want?
To, once.
Change it to one
Yeah.
step and not the rest.
I think that's the idea. Okay, approve the RFP for 23 through 27 audit services.
So I had emailed this to you guys, I do have a couple of hard copies if anybody wants them, we've been with the same audit firm for quite some time now, we've just, the last couple of years, rolled forward our contract with them. So I'd like to go out for, bid and see what else is out there, see what kind of prices we can negotiate even with our current one if we stick with them, but, the level of service that we've been getting with our current auditor has been deteriorating.
Not the price.
Not the price.
Goes without saying.
So, yeah, so I got some RFPs from other counties, to use, as a starting point, and then there was an old one, I think it was from like 2013 or something, that I was able to find in our files, so I just, put this together, and then in addition to this, I'll attach the most recent, financial statements that we have, as well as, any other forms that they would need to fill out.
How many RFPs would you be looking for? How many are you gonna send out?
I'll send it to, all of them that I can locate, for sure.
Probably what,
Put to Marshmallow,
half a dozen or so?
Tilly, yeah, Stickage, so that's at least 4.
And that would include our current. I mean, we might get a better price and a better service.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, second. One question, Transit Commission kinda goes hand in hand with you as far as their audit, and that's worked well.
Yeah,
And
I'll
so
share this with
how
Cheryl if
would
she wants
you
to.
handle that? It's a separate entity, but it's good that you have the same one doing the
Mhm.
audit for both, so.
Yeah, I'll share this with Cheryl and, see if they also want to go out, for a bid there.
They can piggyback, and well, not really piggyback, but kind of go hand in hand.
Are they billed separately?
And I mean, I don't know that we necessarily have to have the same auditors, their audit has to be issued for ours, because they're a component unit of us, so, their financials have to be presented within ours. But, in my experience with auditing, your component units are not always audited by the same company.
I would think it'd be advantageous if you had the same auditor for both, because they'd have the books for cross-referencing everything, whatever.
Mhm.
In fact, the fact that it's would be a larger audit.
Right, they have to still be 2 separate audits.
I understand, but I'm talking that the workload would be larger. So I'm saying, I think there ought to be some kind of a break for them having both entities,
Mhm.
rather than just one of them,
Mhm.
or 2 individual ones.
Yeah, and I'll send this to Cheryl and let her know that, hey, we're going out for bid. We've talked about it before, because they also have the same auditors and have experienced the same situation that we have. So,
All their money runs through our general fund,
Right.
so.
Well, the thing of it is, my feeling is, the same auditor year after year after year, they get kinda in the comfort zone,
mhm.
So, I feel after a while, they can bump on the price up. The one who works not anymore.
And, in all honesty, Clifton Marshmallow probably will come in the lowest price. That's kind of just what they're known for in the industry.
Well, it keeps them on their toes anyway. I mean, at least, know that there's competition out there.
Well, so even if we went that route, we're like, okay, it's not worth this jump to this jump. Like you said, it keeps them on their toes. At the very least, we might get a better rate, but
Right,
at the
and
same
in my,
time, we might look at the other one and say, alright, it's an extra $1,000 and we feel a lot more secure with our audit being done with whatever company, cause they're, you know, better service.
And the quality, I mean, I just, having worked with other audit firms, I know that the quality could improve as well.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor to approve the RFP for the, audits, for an auditing firm. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. So additional ARPA request to forward to county board. I think we would do the IT one for the 42,000.
Yes, did you get a chance to look at that? Okay, I printed you guys copies, I have one for you to sign, but just, you know, I kinda did this on the fly, so I'd like you guys to go over it pretty good before you just sign off, so these are just copies for you to review, and I do have one in color here to sign as well. At some point, I'll have to do another resolution to kind of, undesignate the, funds for the projects that have come in under. So just please look that over and.
You had every letter in the alphabet in your last name. If you had every letter in the alphabet in your last name, you'd sign like that too.
Is this the one to sign for this?
No,
This
Randy
is
doesn't want
a
to sign, but I want you guys to
review
review it
copy.
and make sure that,
Cause we hadn't had it before. So
yeah, I just did that one on the fly here, so.
We voted on this, didn't we?
Yes, but I just wrote that to, like, while we were sitting here, so. please
Oh, you
review
want us
it.
to review the
Yeah.
wording? Okay. I was like, what do you want us to review? There's only one thing on here.
Do you wanna put any sort of like date or,
We certainly ain't gonna be doing both right there.
deadline, like expectation of,
The last thing, last.
You didn't with any of the other ones?
okay.
You maybe wanna update the amount of funds that are left undesignated yet? You said some projects came in under.
Another one?
Well,
Or
yeah, but
under.
I think that needs to be done in a separate resolution, and so maybe just later on, cause there's other projects that are still in progress that will have
Okay, same.
small amounts.
So you said for the ones that came under, we'd have a resolution to put it back in the ARPA budget.
Yeah, kind of undesignate it, and we just have to have everything. So with the ARPA funds, we have until the end of 2026 to spend it, but we have until the end of 2024 to designate funds. So, you know, we have time yet to undesignate those ones that came in under budget and reallocate it somewhere else. But I know there's gonna be more coming in, so,
Oh, I'm sure.
but I mean, like, more.
There's never a shortage of requests.
No, I meant more, well, that and, more
More
coming in
underspent,
as projects
yeah,
that are
right.
currently in progress, are completed. So, right now I have 7 of them that are completed that have money to roll back, but, I figured we could maybe wait for that until we're ready to kind of designate the rest of those ARPA funds or when those projects are complete. It's up to you guys, but the fewer resolutions we have, the easier it is to keep track of.
Are we covered with this resolution on ARPA funds in your minutes, or do we need a motion to forward the resolutions to county board for approval?
So what, is that the IT one?
Yeah, I thought we covered that.
Well, yeah, and I do have, there is a number 10 is additional ARPA request to forward to county board resolution, so that's what I kinda just left on as a blanket.
Motion by Myers, second by Hauser to approve IT fiber project for 42,000 from ARPA funds for the funding source and forward to county board.
That covers it.
Good with that?
Yep. Do you think we need to have a special personnel meeting before county board, should I leave the general employee wage increases on the agenda for county board? Or should we, it's not a big rush, so we might as well just leave it. Yeah.
The other one, I won't be there.
A special meeting?
Before, I'll be the county board, but I won't be there no time before.
I don't get, I don't really.
I have to go on like 6:30. It's Tuesday.
Pure rush. That's what I call it.
Okay, moving on, legal action regarding the previous ambulance billing company.
So, Brian Brian has sent a couple emails to me, but nothing about like really getting into cleaning anything up. Rich sent him another letter. I haven't heard that Rich got any sort of response. You guys had asked me to put this on the agenda for this meeting as to like actually moving forward with some legal action since we're not really getting anywhere. Tom hasn't had much contact.
Have you been in contact with Rich all along, or where's he at?
The last I heard is he sent an email to Brian and I don't know that he got a response.
How long have we been battling this thing for? It's been over a year.
It's been over a year.
It's been ever since we contracted with them.
Right. But I mean, even since we talked about changing, since I've been on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were discussing it already when Kitsy was here. Yeah, so, don't worry.
Whatever we need to do.
Trying to find the letter, the email that Rich sent him.
Remember, she wanted to call it already, but what happened, so.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's like, we just need to get our data back so that we can try to get things cleaned up and transitioned over.
But ain't giving you the data back.
No, and that's why we need to proceed with legal action. Like at first we were trying, okay, so Rich emailed him on July 13th and said the below email chain states that you were going to have all necessary transition work completed by April 30th, 2023. As of today's date, the necessary work has not been completed. Please advise to the status and when we can expect completion. And as far as I'm aware, there has not been any sort of response to that email.
So has anyone talked to Rich what our next step would be? We know,
I think it would be taking legal action.
what would be his recommendation as far as legal action, do we know that either?
Cause that was what was threatened in the last letter, correct? That we would move forward with legal action if we didn't get.
I think we may have threatened it more than once, if I'm not mistaken. I think this might be second or third time, maybe.
The first time Rich sent a letter in the mail, like he got an immediate response saying, oh yeah, we kind of doing this and both, but that was it. You know, he's just, he gives us enough that he thinks he's gonna keep us off his back for a little while and then nothing actually gets accomplished.
Well, it'd be nice to know what our,
There's a lot of different options for legal action.
Right. right,
Well, do you want me to call Rich and see if he answers?
wouldn't be a bad idea.
This is expert billing, right?
Yes.
Remind him we're open.
Hey, Rich, can I put you on speakerphone in the finance committee meeting? We're talking about expert billing. Okay, alright, hang on. Alright, so, Jamie just recapped that you have been in touch with them asking for our information back. You've threatened legal action. We're still not getting anything from them, so.
Well, in the last week, we got a response that he's working on it.
Well, we've heard that before, so I guess the committee's wondering, like, what are the next steps that you'd suggest?
I mean, I can send him another letter. Other than that, we want compliance, to sue him. To get a declaratory judgment is really your only action left.
Right,
So threaten that.
Because, again, nobody else can do this for him. We can't find a different company to do this for him. He's got our data and we need it back.
so, have you threatened that in any of your previous letters, that would be our next step with that such wording?
Not specifically a lawsuit, because he has stated, so I think I've sent him 3 letters, and each time he replies saying that he's working on it or he's getting to it. Now, this last time, he actually reached out for some information
Oh, no, that was just because there was an individual that was disgruntled because they had paid and their insurance had paid and, they weren't getting a refund. That was the only reason why he reached out on that.
That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't him actually trying to get things cleaned up. That was, yeah.
So do we reword the letter and give him 30 days to comply, or our next action at 31 days will be a lawsuit?
30 days, we have no option but to initiate the lawsuit. Okay, no problem.
I'm just asking, I'm not,
I think that's what you have to do, but again, even if you get a lawsuit to do this, that doesn't get compliance.
right,
That's a difficult thing because it's not like we can sue them for money damages for the cost to have somebody else do it.
No, but we can't even do it ourselves right now because we don't have access to any of the data.
Correct. So again, it would be a declaratory judgment or an injunction requiring him to do this.
and the cost to us to even get to that point could possibly be what?
The cost, you're talking court fees and stuff, you're talking a couple $1,000.
Okay. Well, nothing else, I guess we'd have it on record.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think he's ever gonna comply. I think he's just
What's
keeps,
that?
I don't think he's ever going to comply. I think he's just stringing us along to keep us off his back. It's been a year since
Right.
we transitioned the billing away from them.
So I guess start with that, we'll give him the 30 days, and if not, then we'll lawsuit.
We need a motion to direct Rich to do that.
Yeah, do we need a motion to do that, being we're discussing this here, or is that just something?
You don't need to, I mean, you sure can, but you don't need to, cause I'll do it.
Okay.
But if we proceed with litigation against them, we'll want a motion for that.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess if that's our consensus, you can just head in that direction.
Okay. Alright, clear enough, Rich?
Yes, no problems.
Okay, alright, thank you.
Thanks,
All
Rich.
right, you bet.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, Ashley can direct him. Needs to go.
Yeah, I
Alright,
honestly think we've been patient enough.
Right.
I do too, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but it's like,
You know, it would have been great if they would have just done what they were
I think
supposed
you're
to
right,
do.
I think we're gonna be talking about it in a year yet.
Okay, he's never actually gonna post all those payments and.
But I would think some way, shape or form, they could put some, in the end, there could be some sort of judgment put against it for, actually, I guess we should
Did
have,
that get us anything
for the
anyway?
amount that's unpaid here. I mean, how much is sitting out there yet, we think?
Well, I don't know what they have that hasn't, you know, they could have checks and stuff, they have been sending like checks in the mail and stuff, but they're not posting it or not giving us reports that show that it's posted or anything like that.
I wonder why they're like,
I don't get it.
maybe they have a mess going on at their end and they have no clue how to fix it.
I kinda think so, I mean, I think that, I know I talked about, at a conference, the city of Minong was there, and they also use them. But it's a city that, you know, much smaller entity, and I don't think that the city does anything to reconcile their books
So they want some.
yeah, they wouldn't know, like, we know because we receive a lot of the payments here, and then inform them, send them remittances to the payments, or they are able to download them.
So in
So we know
hindsight-
that there's $100,000 of payments that aren't posted to patient accounts.
So in hindsight, this is an extremely good decision to get rid of them, because
Yes.
they would just have created another year's worth of mess that would probably never fix.
And it takes me, you know, I'm trying to, and I'm not up to date on my reconciliations for ambulance, I got February done, 23, but I still have to get at least through June done for budget purposes, and it's a mess trying to, because we have, you know, I'm reconciling all of the payments that we have posted to our general ledger to what the new billing company has, and figuring out what should have been posted to the old billing company, which I don't have any information from them to know if there was anything even posted. It takes me about 5 hours to do each month of reconciliations.
It sounds like a total
has been for quite some time.
Yeah, cause you're probably showing things that aren't paid, you don't know if they're unpaid or not until you get all that data from them, correct?
Right. So, and I'd really like to get this cleaned up before we switch audit firms, or potentially switch audit firms, because that's just, it's embarrassing, but I don't know what else to do.
Not
We're
everybody.
spinning our wheels for nothing, really.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think Rich has gotta pursue it, they've left us no choice, that's
I
why
think that too.
I think when the auditors come and we're able to show them, we've been working on this, we know it's an issue, get rid of the company. We're taking our legal action because we recognize that the books are up because of what
It's to
happened.
the point where they were, you know, this week, like, you're like, well, we think that the allowance that you guys are writing off too much, you know, that your allowance should be much less, and I'm like, I get that, but you only do your write-offs when you have payments posted to patient accounts, because that's when you know, you get, it's $1,000 bill and Medicare pays $400, you've got $600 written off, that's when that $600 gets written off, but if it's not posted to the patient account, you're not doing those write-offs, so I think our allowance is accurate, it's just that we haven't had the payments to post to prove that. So, it's to the point where it is causing those kinds of issues as well.
We need a motion for that, it doesn't sound like it from Rich, Ashley, you just directed me, right?
Yeah, he's pretty much on his own, if he doesn't do things.
Okay, I'll follow up and make sure he sends it.
Okay, approve invoices, I guess. And I left a little slip at home. Well, I did have, the Amazon, this sticks in this crotch. $329 for a pair of boots.
That's excessive.
Fair. And we've complained about it before and
Nowhere.
getting over. I know boots are expensive, but I think there should be an upper limit on those boots. I mean, say it's $200. You want more expensive boots and
Pay the
pay
difference.
for it yourself.
Yeah,
Are they specialized boots?
pay the difference. Pay the difference.
Not really, most of the time they're, they are on their feet for long hours every day on concrete floor in the jail, so I get that, but.
Well, and according to the contract don't they get a set amount for uniforms and it's their discretion what they wanna spend it on?
I think that
Yes, yeah,
Like
it
we-
still has to be approved by George, I think Jeff has been taking on more of that now,
in the past, they used to get $450,
Yeah.
everyone, regardless if they used it for clothes or not.
Not the check
Just
in the-
just get a check.
Oh, okay.
But that was changed, and that $450, as I understand it, went into a fund. And then they just get their clothing allowance out of that fund.
So it's up to them if they wanna spend $350 on a pair of boots and only have $100 left for pants.
It's based on,
yeah.
it's based on $450 per employee.
Well, I think Jeff can tell them he doesn't like how they look, and then they would have to
Yes.
spend that out of their own pocket.
What's the other one that uses the underwear?
I mean, I agree, I agree with you guys that it probably has a name tactic or something.
Duluth Trading.
Yeah,
What are we gonna do? It is up there to discretion, it's in their union contract, if I understand.
it is, yeah. Okay.
I Jeff would like to change that.
No,
I think it's foolish, but is it their discretion?
I'm looking at my list right now for those.
I think that fund does get abused at
It
times.
is.
Those were tactical boots.
Like I said, you add the name tactical and it's an extra $100 because then they feel
Oh, yeah.
tactical, cause now you have magic shoes and they'll take you anywhere.
I feel
Well,
terrible.
They all get the same kind then?
Duluth Trading, they got tactical underwear?
Do they all get the same kind of boots on or not, or?
No,
I think they can choose.
but, yeah, the
Some
sheriff
people
is
are probably
probably
like, hey, this is the same pair of boots and it's
You can find-
$100, it doesn't say tactical, so.
You can find all kinds of good shoes, safety and whatever else online for $250 and down,
Yeah.
and top quality tapes. I went through this with somebody else somewhere else, and biggest line of BS.
You know what the problem is? You're gonna get accused of micromanaging.
Right.
Well, and like I said though, I mean, it is in their contract that they can spend money on uniforms, so they have plus money for shirts.
Yeah, but 6 windows underwear become part of their uniform.
That is not one of the items that's listed in their required.
They've been,
Kind of expected, but.
We're gonna wear that, yeah.
There was a new hire we bought for it, and it was like $600 for a complete unit, but that was a new person starting
Yes.
out, so, yeah, I
Yep.
can see that, so. I don't know what all involved, but there's hats and pants and shirts and.
jack cover, winter jack, whatever. Shirts, pants.
There's one here for this Fiddler deal, what is, it's like Fiddler is like nonstop.
That is who's doing Mary Bird's scanning project.
I thought that was done.
Say,
I mean, this is like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was hearing about the scanning project.
But we do have,
This is that starting.
so that was the open media conversion, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, 22,000.
Yeah, that would definitely be the scanning project. The other one, that Laredo did in 2023, that's just a monthly amount that we have to pay them based on the fees that we collect. Cause on that one, we collect the subscription amounts, and then there's a commission that we have to pay back to the Fiddler.
that one, this deputy draws on his account. He draws
But
on
it
his
seems like we're
account.
always doing some type of, am I wrong, or am I just seeing the same thing?
It's not a pool.
No, it's just,
This project is taking that long, but it seems like there's more than numerous projects involved here.
So, well, yeah, it's taking a long time because they have to come in here and physically do it.
In the first year, he burns it out.
So I know they were here, I think in May.
Well, I mean.
When I was on zoning yet, there was a scanning thing that got paid for.
Uh-huh,
Where my understanding is they came in like a day or two and scanned everything.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it came around, then this came out. And I'm like, if we just did this, why are we doing this? For, I think it was originally 40-some thousand.
mhm.
But now I see this charge again for 20, I'm like, okay, how many times do we have to rescan these and upload them? I guess I'm probably not understanding the process.
I think the first, okay, Jamie, help me out here. I think the first project was to scan in a certain set of documents, and then once the ARPA money came in, I think there are more back scanning projects that were kind of put on the back burner that Mary asked for additional funds for, so I think they're two separate scanning projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cause like that first one covered a big chunk of it, but then there was still, and so this will cover the last chunk of it.
Right, so then everything should be digital now.
And then that was all within what had been approved somewhere along the way.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Alright. Now I understand. It's just like I see it and I'm like, okay, is there something else still going on here? But, okay,
Mhm.
it's just the end of it, so.
And then there's constant charges from Fiddler because they run the,
They're the software company.
right, they're the software.
So which is why they went with Fiddler for this conversion project, because then it's all integrated with what they currently have for their systems.
Seamlessly uploaded into the system.
Well, and if I remember right, I think Fiddler does good work, or just was like, how many scanning projects can we do in the deeds office?
She's got a lot of big books down there though. I mean, really.
It's good to have the stuff, I get it.
What's this Clear Farm Market?
They purchased corn for the fair for the corn boil.
Yeah.
Gizmo cost $3,000 at the fair?
I think, he was about to file a restraining order against my kids.
He deserved it. I was watching him in
Daisy's
action.
following him around and she's like, sing a song, and he's like, oh, well, what song? And she's like, your favorite song, and he's like, beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. She's like, you can sing a song, you can talk, you can sing
He
a
was
song.
quite funny. He did have a lot of kids' attention.
Yeah. I heard one kid, he's really little, he's like, look, it's the robot. Yeah, he's 3,000.
Is it programmed or somebody else communicating.
I don't know.
It's a secret.
Yeah, I know.
What's that?
Gizmo.
You wanna know if it was programmed or if somebody was monitoring?
Somebody was running it.
Yeah, talking to her.
Kind of.
If he's going around greeting people, you have to have kind of a variety of conversation.
He was inside, wasn't he?
We was,
Uh-huh.
He was inside the thing.
he had to be pretty small. Okay.
I didn't know he was in there.
Yeah.
His head would go around.
His head wasn't actually up.
Better not have been, cause the neck was only that big.
There's,
That was interesting.
there's an item here, Lad Lake Incorporated is foster care for $18,718. That, and I know what that is, that's for 1 month for one child. Jeremy is working desperately to get that child, and there are, he's got a family that's looking, that may adopt that child, so.
That'd be great.
that
I
occurs.
think we were there before.
So there's no
Call it
exemption for this.
Yeah, it is.
I know he tries so hard for that.
Heck, it's Horton's True Value Hardware. Horton's True Value Hardware for shovel and rake. I've never heard of HOR.
Here, purchase your tech.
Find out on Sunday.
Shovel and rake. Something for inventory.
Pediatric.
I didn't see that.
Fire investigatory.
I tried to find it.
Oh.
I get it if they were down in that part of the county, I just feel like where's Horton?
Yeah, there ain't.
Don't get
After the
run back
fact.
to the case,
Right.
then go back to the text.
Another one here too, I was wondering a little bit about, Legend Technical Services,
That's the asbestos survey for the hospital.
yeah, 120 hours, inspection mileage, 453 sample, yeah, $14,000.
Here's the invoice.
So, what are we doing with this information, or how? I mean, I know what he's doing, I guess I'm wondering,
Well, that's gonna affect the cost. That'll factor some costs.
So for the RFP for the demolition, then they know which areas and what they're dealing with for the asbestos as far as the abatement and the demolition goes.
this person is not with the company that's gonna do the removal.
We haven't picked a company yet.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, we don't, I don't think Legend does removal. I think they just do surveys. So,
That's what I was kinda wondering,
Take it under
how we fit into the whole picture.
yeah.
I knew you would.
Yeah, they work closely with BRAC.
Brack, yeah.
Not about to know.
Yeah, cause they said he took, 453 samples and stuff.
Oh. I wonder where that came from.
Much more in front of those. Quite impressed.
Well, here's one that obviously went through for the St. Croix deal,
Yeah,
but my point is, being we're government, can we get some type of a deal where the ones that do go through?
we
And
do
this
have,
was
but
a
we do
$10
have cards.
wash with $1 off, so I'm assuming,
Yeah, we,
must bought gas or something, too, so they got $1
we
off.
do have cards that we purchased in bulk, that each card has like 50 washes on it, and then we bill those out annually. But obviously they didn't have the card for that, or what was showing up.
Late Marcus, go to the highway shop.
Highway
Highway
doesn't
shop
have a
doesn't have
wash place. They do tip it, most likely they wash theirs in the Sally Port here. They have a closet.
But that turns into a whole deal, I remember, cause all that's, I was hoping they could just wash whatever they could at Quick Trip. 'Cause
And they do.
it makes no sense for me to have an officer getting paid $30 an hour to sit here and wash his own squad, and then somebody have to clean the sand out of
Have you
it.
seen the line for Quick Trip though?
Yeah.
It's faster to come here and wash your own car than it is to sit in that line at Quick Trip.
Timing.
So bagel dip, wanna try it?
5 AM, 10 PM.
You trust me?
But yeah, you wouldn't see the ones that
Hands?
use that car wash card before come
You
through
feel
here
me
because
touching
we
it?
purchase them in bulk. and-
So we are using it,
Never.
You wash your hands, I trust you.
which
I
I
never
think
do.
makes more sense than paying a deputy to wash the squad. Now, if we get a couple inmates on Uber to wash their squads,
That's what I suggested.
I still think that's not a bad idea.
Jeff says no, none of them wanna work.
Yeah, too good.
But I mean, you could go out in the sunshine.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
We had a little fundraiser act.
For the new jail.
Barbecue.
There you go, now you're thinking funny.
He'll put on a
We call it the ordinance press.
What would you like, chips?
What kind of chips you got? Something from
Thanks.
There's barbecue in there. The red bag is barbecue.
Chips,
Barbecue
you want
one.
bagel dip?
Bagel dip. Did that gray folder make it all the way around?
Jim's got it.
Somewhere.
Jim has it.
Oh, it's over by Jim.
Did you sign all of them?
No, I haven't even looked at it yet.
Okay, well, you better make sure you got ink in your pen. Thanks, Penny.
See, we were talking about the more than one person going to
You want some
training
bagel
or
dip?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just paying the bill here for 5 deputies going on jail tours.
Anything here?
They actually did bring that here.
Hey, I brought that here. I did.
And it wasn't deputies.
It was,
wasn't-
yeah, it was like administration.
Well, there was jailers that went with too.
Well, it was the two jail sergeants, Jeff, George,
Phil.
Phil, and me, yeah. Yeah, no, I brought that here. I did.
I remember.
Not yet. Thank you.
Alan, you want anything? Good job.
That's the word.
Thank you.
So now, all these expenses that are coming through on these joint management buildings, I'm seeing heating and stuff like that. What fund is that coming out of?
You're doing it, and then, yeah,
Each building has its own fund.
there's a budget, and then at your end, whatever ones are, what, they have excess revenue, what was it, the money fund, they had a deficit, then the money fund covers that.
Hopefully there's a rent coming in from each building.
They get you all the time.
Into the fund.
I got it. A lot of rain gutters on these, 12,000.
I think that project isn't quite done yet, right? I don't think it's fully done.
A lot of problems with the library.
imagine it was.
It was, yes, so, the pod style design, you can't really envision it correctly until you're in it. I think we should go to Barron County or somewhere closer so you guys can see it. I mean, so you've been up in our jail currently, you can't see anything, everything is through cameras, but in these pods, the jailers sit in the middle, and from where they're sitting, you can literally see every single inmate without having to move. I don't know, I enjoyed the tour.
I've seen some, I think I've seen Barron counties, maybe a picture of it, or I haven't been there, but.
Yeah.
I did see how, they can see all around.
Yep, and I forget which county we were in, maybe Oconto County. They did they went on the intercom and said that they were doing like a check or something, so each inmate had to stand by their bed. And I mean, it was really cool to see. And then they've got, special kind of glass, so the jailers can see in, but the inmates can't see out. Like, we actually went into a cell, and when you look out, you just see your reflection. Yeah. So, I mean, so much has changed in jail design since our jail was built. It was really enlightening.
So they still have to be in a certain place in their room in order to see?
No, you can see them, but like,
You can see the whole room from.
Yeah.
You see inside out
you
corner?
can see them sleeping in their bed, you can see them sitting in a chair reading a book. Yeah, but as far as like if every hour they need to do a count or something, like our staff right now has to walk around to do that. In the new designs, you just tell them to stand by their beds and that's that.
Washburn County is getting pushed into a jail, and in the jail too. They just moved into a new courthouse.
Yes, they are. Yep.
What's this OWI allocation and closed trailer keepers?
So that's the trailer for the, pedal carts and we ordered a kit, for like the drunk driver simulation thing. So it comes with goggles and pedal carts and this whole, kind of activity kit. And then the trailer is to store all of it and be able to transport it, cause like, there's a couple of single pedal carts and then there's one that's a double. So he just bought that, actually, he's gonna go pick it up next week.
We have invoices to Sacred Heart Hospital for Sheriff's Department for pre-employment exams.
So they
Anything
have to
special, it can't be done here?
It's like well, I don't know.
What's
So
special?
were they down there for training?
I guess I don't know for sure why it needs to be.
3 different individuals.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it needs to be done there rather than here, I don't know what it all entails, like I know they don't have.
Is it possible the person is from that area that is maybe getting hired this way?
Yeah, well, it says agility test, so maybe they don't have the equipment here to be able to do that.
Invoice state's the same, but yeah, it's like $750, give or take, for this deal.
So there was,
But they're all stating the same thing, but they're all on the same date.
are you looking at the,
Well, one said sheriff employment, and the other one was jail.
so that's for 3 different, that's 2 for jail and 1 for sheriff.
Isn't it kinda odd that all 3 of them, or is that the statement it came on?
Right.
Oh, so it's not the actual day it took place.
No, yeah, one was on the 25th, one was on the 30th, one was on the 16th. to do with the equipment, like I know that, you know, when I was having prenatal appointments and stuff, some of them had to be in ship one, some could be here, but it was like they didn't always have the equipment for.
Probably, but why don't you ask anyways, just so we.
Alright, I'll go ask her right now.
Thought there was a new hospital and clinic out here. I think that,
Yeah, but
Yeah, they don't.
I'm guessing it has something to do with that agility test, but
sounds to me like they're going to, there's a special name for some of these pre-employment physicals you do. I worked for a company that used to make me do that, we had to go to a
Maybe they have to look at
special
some
doctor that just.
$1,000 to do the radio transfer.
Yeah.
I remember what
Something else.
it was.
It's nuts.
And it was an extravagant cost.
Just a wiring job.
They wouldn't just let me go to my regular doctor, I had to go to, occupational health specialist.
yeah, MRO review, I think for that is something weird.
But that's the title of the game at the time, was occupational health specialist.
Just commenting to Tony about sound and logic. The actual new squad changeover, $7,280.
Yeah.
That might have been,
For more than one?
I was thinking it might be for.
I doubt it.
All these days, that's kind of a consistent price.
Oh.
That kind of money shall be new equipment. Hope we're not paying them to take used stuff out, that kind of money, you'd think it'll be.
They changed the squad design, so I think that this one probably was all new, everything.
Do they come with the lights in them already, or do those have to be put in too?
They come like so weird.
Gosh, you would think lights could be exchanged. All that stuff that goes in the back glass and the grill, and I don't know why that would matter. Maybe the wiring harness, but I would think a lot of that stuff could be reused.
And I think they do reuse everything that they can, but I think the style changed, B74.
Actually, you would almost think if you're ordering it for this type of work, that a lot of the stuff would come pre-wired.
You'd think so. I mean, that's
Oh, that's working.
That's kinda odd, they don't, pre-wire.
Well, said at the last property, he says that, says he thinks the car companies are these companies, and then they change the body style just a little bit, so that you gotta buy a new set every time, and you gotta hire somebody to put it in.
We'll run the airplane, you can run squads longer.
So that was Eagles, so Eagle just got a new Explorer before he had a truck.
Actually, did you see this from Purveya?
Yes,
I
yes.
was looking at the actual invoice.
So I don't know if somehow Sacred Heart does the billing for Purveya, I'm not really sure, but yeah, they go out here.
Okay, yeah, cause the bill says Purveya, but then it should
Bill Kids.
Falls.
I think the other.
Pulling his little,
Say Sacred Heart on there.
pulling his little.
Right.
Yeah, and I know actually that they couldn't reuse the cage from his old squad because when his old one came into the cage and everything was still in the back and they had to just throw it away. Survey is per Sacred Heart.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's all part of
they-
HSHS.
So they do the billing then, probably.
And they're doing it right out here, it's just that's
Yeah.
what it goes, okay, that makes sense.
Sign up. Just sign up.
Anybody else have any questions on the invoices?
I could read that. I'll let Randy, let Gary send it. Need a motion to pay the bills?
We do.
Okay, I'll make that motion. You make that?
Motion by Phil to pay the invoices. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Al. Any other discussion, any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, and then we took care of the out-of-county travel, didn't we?
Hi, we have a limit for how many line items we can fit on a, how
Do you wanna go?
I'll prove other people.
It's,
This is better with all
That would be you.
this.
it's to go to the WPA annual
Oh, yeah,
conference.
Mark, I'm on that.
Yeah, so it's for Randy, Tom Kudo, Dave Willingham, Phil Undershoots, Terry Wedwig, Mark Schmidt, and Phil Schneider for the county board people from September 17th and 19th. We would go to the WCA annual conference.
Absolutely not.
What's that?
I'm voting no against all of you, too. I'm just telling you right now.
Ew. I mean, this was just, I don't know what the.
I have other things going on at the same time.
So just, for the meeting, it was $770, registration was $1260. Estimated meals is $140, estimated lodging was $1820. Mileage, I don't know, $1302.
Well, I'll take one of those cars, so you can get them cheaper.
You still have to do the 55 cents.
Yeah.
The 65, yeah, well, whatever, I messed up there, but, so that's, 50. How's it going, Phil? You want that button? So that's where that's at, and then the other one is for me to go, registration fee was $80, estimated meals $25. Lodging was $260, and the mileage was $84.60, that's what's good. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the out-of-county travel.
So moved.
A motion by Phil, a second by Tony. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, we are to the reports, treasures, I don't know, we got anything that we need to talk to Verna about? Can you bring her, report up? anything with, tax deed property with Brenda?
No, she's just, as far as I know, just planning on keeping the one, and as far as I'm aware, no update on that.
On the investment pool?
It's right up there right now. She's trying to, lock in some of these longer term CDs. She did buy a CD this week.
Verna's been finding some miracle grow from the money trees.
So yeah, she's locked some of them in for longer terms.
Who's American Deposit?
That's ADM, that investment company that,
Okay, alright.
yeah, and we have to, do some entries to get the interest that we have from them so far in 2023 recorded yet too, so, the investment interest amount that she presented in the budget is really not even accurate for the 6 months, so I think we'll have no problem meeting our targets there.
Opioid fund said I know they're designated for, prevention. Is that probably our first payment, or is there more coming?
We've gotten several payments so far from them. I think we even just got another one within the last couple weeks here. Well, I'm trying to pull it up that night. We have been running here as well. So in 22, we had received 75,435.69, and then this month we received a payment for $13,041, and another one for $46,389.
Keeps dribbling in.
Yeah, I think that, the Johnson & Johnson has annual payments, and then there's been other settlements that have come in as well, so. As of right now, there's no official plan to spend that money. Jeremy would like to get some sort of prevention specialist on staff to utilize some of that funding, so, but obviously it's not.
I think that money is probably restricted to.
Yep, opioid prevention and.
It's only opioid prevention, you can do that, yeah.
And abatement,
What's that?
and abatement.
Abatement meaning getting rid of,
Mhm.
so you can't use it for like
designated driver surcharge dollars that could be partnered with it.
Is there gonna be more opioid funds coming in? Rusk?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get like close to 300,000 in total.
And there's another settlement in the works right now too, that we haven't seen anything from yet.
Some really interesting documentaries or shows on Netflix right now about the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. One was called Dope Sick and the other one was called Painkiller.
Really good.
It's like,
Yeah.
Watch it, Phil, cause it's very, very good.
I think the Dope Sick one was better than Painkillers, but I'm trying to remember if that one was on Netflix or if that was on a different channel. Can't remember. It might have been on, I don't know. I don't know.
anybody have any other concerns or questions on treasurer's report? There's any CDs that are coming due?
She just renewed one early, that one, this one here, we just paid a small penalty on that one, and I think she's rolled it into a 30 month. I can't remember for sure what the term was on that one, but I know she just, otherwise, I'm not sure about that. I mean,
What are they talking on interest
Well, I think
rates?
we're doing, yeah, she's doing well with the interest on those
Yeah.
yeah,
deposits.
You might
wait,
get
no,
a
this
chance,
isn't the one she just rolled, it was,
might get a chance to roll these again yet.
maybe she already.
What they're talking about is interest rates, whatever here.
They're gonna go up again?
No, but I think they're gonna stay steady.
Okay.
That's what I'm.
She might have already included that in here, cause I think there was one.
Unless the government takes some drastic measure to lower it.
This one here, this farmers and merchants, this one, this is last month's on here. She cashed that one in early. So I think that's what.
I think I've said that we won't do it.
Yeah.
What about that one above the one, yeah, the 13 months?
Or maybe that is, no, well, this,
How
oh,
about
sorry,
that 375 one there?
That's what I was looking at too.
January. Would only be
Yeah,
a
and she
percent
might
and a
be
half,
looking
it
at that.
probably doesn't, it's probably,
For what we pay for penalties, yeah.
yeah, it's probably right there.
Mm.
Give it another couple, 3 months and then work.
Yeah, and I think Ashley and I are gonna have to sit down with Berta and kind of figure out what our cash flow needs are gonna be at the beginning of next year to, we had a meeting, Berta and I had a meeting with ADM earlier this week, but, you know, we need to be working out some money for, projects that'll later be reimbursed by bonds, we're gonna need to be able to have the cash available to fund that, so. I'll have to communicate with Berta as to what our needs are gonna be.
Well, okay, I guess, we can move on. Ashley, do you wanna touch on yours here?
Sure.
Sorry, I forgot to take the benefits to yours.
Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Well, the only update from personnel was the wage increase resolution, which we've already discussed. For joint management items, the animal shelter is looking to move forward with that addition. The proposal that the animal shelter board wanted to go with was $15,000 for the architect plans. So animal shelter met this morning, and I think they might have paused that because it didn't go well at property. The thought was that $15,000 was quite high, so I think Terry, Wedwick was making some calls around to see if that number was kinda out of whack, and then we'll recalibrate on that. So I don't believe that'll be coming to the board this month. Right now, Gary has out for bid a rooftop HVAC unit out at the ADF building. Apparently that years. And it's like, just recently, we've been seeing a rash of, bills come in from ADF, trying to figure out what the problem is with that unit, so Gary has that out for bid right now. Construction updates, really nothing new to share. Tony, you were there, we cut a lot of square footage off of what they originally proposed, so we're down to like, I think 38,000 square feet. Kewaunee County bids came in at about $700 a square foot, so Jeff and George and I are still working to try to cut what we can, but really no, we're so preliminary still. I don't know, do you have anything else?
Their whole program, their whole thrust right now is to close down Minor Avenue, and go across the street.
Yeah.
I don't think myself, there's a good number of board members that are not in favor of that, but they seem to not, didn't wanna discuss it.
The city or our builders?
Our
Whoever made the presentation.
Our builders, the ones that, yeah.
Yeah, they're coming with alternative options at the next meeting, which is
They're
September.
pushing this one across the street. And if you read this morning's paper, you got headlines there about the new jail. And it makes it sound like it's a done deal.
Oh, we haven't voted on anything.
No.
I know, but the paper makes it sound that
Well,
way.
the city is not in favor of it either.
Well, how come it went to the city council if it didn't go to the board?
We had requested meetings with them, and it was city leadership that wanted to bring it to the council right away.
More to ask if that was an option before you brought it to county board, or was that to ask?
No, it kind of went to council before we had really investigated anything. That was a little bit putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, I would.
There was that one of it said that if we put it over in the northeast corner, there would be room for it. And then just put an elevator up and get you right by the courts. You're putting everything out here, it's a long way from the courts as far as I'm concerned.
It is.
No, it would connect right with the courts. If we put it on the east side, we have to have an entire secured hallway, and if we stack it, we have to increase staffing.
Oh, but they're going way out to Warden Avenue.
Yeah, that's jail support down there. That's a new Sally Port. He'll bring alternatives at the next meeting.
That's just extra above and beyond
I don't see why they can't put a new Sally Port out there in the area where maintenance is. In that area, include the jail, on that block over there. If you gotta tear around part of the courthouse, take that whole parking lot for jail, fine. But, you know, if you did that, you could take it to Curtis Sally Port and use it for maintenance.
We could go off every direction and add a little bit on. We could go out every direction and add a little on.
A couple feet here and a couple feet there.
Couple feet, $1 here, $1 there, couple $1,000 here, couple $1 million there. No big deal.
I don't like the idea of shutting that street down,
I don't like it.
out of the utilities, cost of utilities.
Yeah, we would, I think the proposal is that the county would pay to upgrade the utilities under minor in exchange
I don't
for,
like that.
well, none of this is all just discussion.
I understand, but
Yeah,
they're pushing the proposal across the street, not the one, the other one, the original one was on the east side. And they didn't wanna talk about the east side.
Okay, we paid them $500,000 to make us feel good about this, the next purchase.
Well,
Tony, we're gonna talk about it at the next meeting, I know we are.
good.
Okay. For the hospital nursing home transition, Gary has the, bid written for, asbestos abatement and demolition. Right now, it's with Rich, and then that will be posted hopefully by the end of the day today. And then Randy, you noticed the asbestos survey, that came in at just over $14,000, and we are cleared to pay that out of the wind down funds, so. That's what I got.
And then in addition that, we discussed at joint management, the library, the Electric Builders is working on the south side, and they tore off, there's a couple round windows up there, those things are maybe, they're probably bigger than 4 foot diameter, they're all rotten around. So, Fleck Fleckner was looking at an additional cost of about $5,000 to, and what they're going to do is take that, cause a lot of that rot goes down behind the bricks. So I think if I'm correct, they're gonna take those bricks off, and then it'll be replaced with stucco.
That's to fix the wall, whatever plywood, studs, whatever has to be
Yeah.
fixed, they'll take care of that, and then stucco.
And those windows will be eliminated, they'll be just closed and boxed in.
It'll disappear.
I would save this thing. So we're gonna, back to the, we're gonna do, these RFPs going out for asbestos removal, what's the next step there?
So I think Gary wrote it for, you can bid on asbestos removal, demolition, or both. Yeah.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Oh, hey, I just got done, what did you guys decide on the shelter?
We're gonna postpone.
Okay, alright.
They're coming for their budgets, so once we're through our regular agenda, they're the first on the agenda for budgets, so that's why.
Okay, wanna do your report, Connie?
Why, sure. So I had, Andrew Barnack from the Wisconsin, Historical Society come in, and he's coming back in September or October. He is going to take quite a few things back to him, with him to Madison, to the State Historical Society is where it starts out. And what he doesn't want, because the Historical Society here wants some things, they can't have it until the state goes through it first. So the state's taking things first, if they don't want, then ours gets.
What kind of stuff is it?
So he made a list here, it's things like, county board proceedings, school census reports from 1950 to 1964, student transcripts, financial books, card indexing of students, school district books, county superintendents, school minutes, teachers lists. It's old, and it's sitting down there, and dance hall ordinances, county official directories, county board proceedings, the Flambeau mining stuff is gonna go. County farm stuff, some county board minutes are gonna go. They're very, very old, and so they need to be taken care of. And so, and they haven't been, so this is a way for us to keep things, preserve them, yes. And so from there, from Madison, they'll go to Eau Claire. So they're gonna go through all that stuff. So, we're still at the same place with, dog license is a $30 fee right now, over and above their typical dog license fee, so that's the fine that they're at till October. And then marriage license, we're slowing down, but on our envelopes for absentee, it all got approved already, we need about 6,000. It's $159 per thousand. So, and I think I can wait it out and, get it on the
6,000 envelopes.
in and out. So 12,000.
And how, is that per year? That's not per year. Definitely.
Not indefinitely,
That's
So that's six, how long is that gonna last us for?
probably a year, maybe a little over a year.
That's a hell of a lot of absentee ballots.
That's what goes on, you just don't know. So I don't wanna run out.
You know, I'm just saying.
It might last us 2 years, it might last us a year. We just we calculated, and so we know what happened last time. So we're predicting, a pretty big election, and so it's a lot. So the city has a lot of voters, town of Flambeau has a lot of voters. And he has quite a few, how many absentees do you have?
Well, I think, we had like, I think we sent out 150 for the last presidential election. So
So-
probably more this year,
Yeah.
or next year, I'm sorry.
Leaf was pretty heavy too.
Yes, and town of Grant was pretty heavy.
I would say, are you talking 6,000 and up?
So 6,000 inner and 6,000 outer. We're probably gonna have some left over, but I don't wanna run out.
But how long are they good for?
They're good. These are all redone, so
So, we got 4 elections next year.
possibly 5.
Well, that's what I'm saying, so, you know, that's allowing 1,200 per election average
Yes,
to the whole county.
yes.
That isn't excessive.
No, it's not.
Not, like, down in Dewey had like 170 or so absentee last election. I don't know what you had, but I mean,
Town of Grant had like 140.
yeah, it's, first thing you know, you're at
Flambeau had a good chairman and say, you know, come vote in person, it'll save us money.
So that's what I mean, is that excessive or is it not? Do
No, I
I
don't
order
think it is.
extra? So I can get them, later in the year, so I can get them on my 2024 budget. So he's gonna allow me to do that, I can order them and get them.
delivered after the end of the year.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm working that out.
What is your budget, man?
Well, you can call what you want, but I don't have any money left in this election, and it wasn't, I didn't know, we didn't know about it. It was kinda sprung on us, so that's where we're at. So we're preparing, and there's some things that we do have to order, and not much, but we are preparing, so. Getting ready. With training too, so there's a lot of training that has to be done. And new clerks and, it's going good. That's it.
Okay. Anything new with you, Jamie?
No, we're just
Sales tax.
crazy and busy right now between, the sales tax is down compared to previous years a little bit, but I'm hoping we can still meet our target. I think that, we cannot increase our target for the 2024 budget. I think we need to keep that the same as we had for 2023. We're just, still working through audit. We just got our draft this week, so we're gonna be working on reviewing that. Still working on budgets. Our cost audit happened this week. What else we got going on? There's something else I'm missing. Trying to get through those ambulance wrecks and stay up to date with AP and credit card processing, and still helping out with the HR duties until we get somebody in that role, so.
Yeah, Brittany and Emily are continuing to help a lot with onboarding new employees, and Jamie and I are working really hard on our insurance renewal.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing, our property insurance renewals, I got that email this week, so I'm working on that as well.
We just help with the, preparing for the meetings and making the phone calls.
Which is very time consuming as well.
Yeah, we